Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Safe Streets Coalition meeting. Just continue to eat and enjoy your food. We welcome our visitors today, and would you raise your hand if this is the first time you've attended the coalition meeting? Thank you very much. We do have new member forms in the middle of the table. If you would like to join, of course, there's no cost, but just go ahead and fill it in, leave it on your table, and I will add you to the list. We do have our staff today from Prevention Recovery Services. We have Michelle Voth, who's Executive Director. Lynn Smith up here, he's Community Prevention Consultant, and will be our speaker today. Michaela Butterworth, she's Education and Communication Specialist. And I'm Judy Wilson, Office Manager and National Night Out Program Coordinator. So if you have any questions, please contact any of the staff and we'll be glad to help you. Our champion of character today is Lieutenant John Trimble. Would you please come forward? And Cindy and the others come forward, please. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a representative from the DA's office, Marcus Miller. He's with Community Relations. And Russ Klump is going to make the presentation today.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to read off of the actual certificate here so I don't get anything wrong, and we'll get this award presented. So today's champion character is Lieutenant John Trimble. On May 31st, 2019, officers were dispatched to an address inside the city limits of Topeka. Dispatch advised a female victim had been stabbed in the neck. Officers arrived and found the victim had been stabbed in the neck twice and completely through her hand twice and was bleeding profusely. The suspect in this case barricaded himself inside a house nearby and refused to come out for law enforcement. The victim advised the suspect was still armed with a knife, but also had a gun. Lieutenant Trimble arrived and took over as the incident commander. Lieutenant Trimble did an excellent job working with other supervisors on scene to assure all resources were in place to stabilize the situation. Once everyone was where he wanted them, Lieutenant Trimble took it upon himself to call the suspect and begin negotiations. The suspect answered the phone, and during the conversation, he told Lieutenant Trimble he had slit both of his wrists. He also threatened to come outside with his gun and force officers to kill him. Lieutenant Trimble would eventually speak with the suspect for over an hour. During this time, Lieutenant Trimble displayed unwavering compassion, endurance, patience, and persuasiveness. Lieutenant Trimble never gave up and communicated with the suspect very effectively. The suspect eventually gave up and walked out of the house without further incident. Thanks to Lieutenant Trimble, the suspect was taken into custody without any injury to our officers, and he was able to receive medical treatment for his wounds. Lieutenant Trimble was instrumental in stabilizing this incident and ensuring the suspect was taken into custody as safely as possible. His leadership and communication skills are what brought this incident to such a successful resolution. In this incident, Lieutenant Trimble demonstrated compassion, endurance, patience, and persuasiveness, which makes him today's champion of character.
Would you like to say anything?
I'm very humbled by this award. I have to give credit to all of the officers that were on scene before I got there. They had everything under control, and I was just kind of the piece that put the final cap on. But I will tell you that your Topeka Police Department is one of the most prestigious agencies, not in this region, but even in the country. And the training that we have and the way that we plan to go to situations like this is why this ended peacefully. Sergeant Schultz in the back nominated me for this award, but I can tell you that he had everything under control before I got there. So this is a group award, not just for me, for all of us on second shift and for the Topeka Police Department as a whole. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I noticed that we've got new forms on the tables, so be sure and fill those out to make your nominations for the Champion of Character, because we need those nominations so we can do this presentation. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Okay, now we'll do a little bit of business here, and then we'll get into our presentation. The September minutes were mailed to you, and also they're placed on the table if you care to look at them. I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Motion, is there a second? Motion and second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The motion has been approved. Want to go a little bit on our staff upcoming meetings. We have the Substance Abuse Task Force, which is October the 9th, and it is at PARS. Our retailer meeting is also at PARS on October 16th. The IFO meeting is off-site on the 17th, and our Safe Property Management is October 29th. The flyers just went out for the training, so if you know of anyone in an apartment building or a landlord who would like to come to the training, just give us a call and we'll be glad to help you. If you would turn to the back side of your agenda, we do have a lot of neighborhood watch meetings. We had many new ones this month, with more scheduled next month, as well as those who have met on a regular basis. Also, we have had presentations. Lynn was at Washburn University for the alcohol safety. We did the Kirk and Cobb Realtors, and we do that when we have new realtors that come to the different companies. And also, we do have the retailer and IFO meeting. You would see a lot of media on our Facebook pages, so I encourage you to go out to the Safe Streets Coalition Facebook page, National Night Out Facebook page, Lock It or Remove It, also the Prevention and Recovery, and also our Latino Facebook page. Now we would like to invite Sergeant Dan Wilson to come forward for our police department statistics.
Thank you. The first slide up here will be the city violent crime. Again, you can see the blue numbers are the ones that are down. You can look month to month and year to year. Most of the numbers are, balanced out. We have a few more robberies than we've had. When you're out and about, just keep an eye out. If you see something, call us. If you see something suspicious, maybe take a picture of a vehicle or a tag or write it down just in case. Especially with the business robberies, we need some help. We need you guys to see something, call us, point us in the right direction. But overall, the numbers are good. Like I said, just continue to call us and help us out. The property numbers, a lot of blue on this sheet also. Auto thefts, year to year up, but if you look month to month, they're down. License plate theft is down finally. On the auto theft, especially with the weather changing, remember, don't leave your car running, don't leave your keys in it. Even if you're just going into the quick shop to get a cup of coffee or something, take your keys in. It's better than losing your car. A couple of the slides for the last month. We're hosting a Pancakes with the Police. It'll be at Ward Mead, Prairie Town on October 19th at 8 a.m. Feel free to come out. It's similar to like the Coffee with a Cop or Ice Cream with the Cop. It's just a way to interact with us in a different, rather than us showing up at your house, you guys can just come out and see us and talk to us about issues and problems. In a similar fashion, we hosted the Power Rings with the Police at Baker's Dozen last month. We had a decent turnout for that. Like I said, we encourage you to come out, talk to us, tell us what's going on in your neighborhoods, and if we can help you, we'd love to help you out. And then an upcoming event, the 16th Annual Battle of the Badges, which is a fundraiser with us, Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, and Kansas Highway Patrol, October 27th out at Washburn. It's a good way for all of us to work together, away from work, and raise money for a worthy cause. So, and kind of like what Judy was talking about, if we can help you out with anything in your neighborhoods, with your neighborhood watches, with some of these meetings and stuff, feel free to reach out to us. The West community officers are in the PARS building over on 29th Street. The East officers are over at, what's the community center over there? Deer Creek Community Center. So, thank you.
Thank you. Captain Acree. Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office, I should say.
No worries. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Caleb Acree, Captain, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. We're already in October, so yay fall weather. But with that comes something that's very important to us, and that's Halloween safety. So I want to take a minute and plug our Offender Watch program. Shawnee County Sheriff's Office registers all violent offenders in Shawnee County. With that, you can go on to shawneesheriff.org, and you can click onto the offender map, and you can pull up a geographical location for the area that you want to take your kids trick-or-treating, and it will show you where the offenders in that area live. It's important. Currently, there's no law that prohibits offenders from partaking in trick-or-treating, so we like to get the parents and the communities aware of educating themselves through the resources available so that we can keep everybody safe and away from said offenders. Still having a few scams. I got one just as I was walking in. I think if you guys remember last time I was here, the scam going, Captain Acree called me and told me I had warrants. We do not call people on the phone and tell them they have warrants. So if somebody from the sheriff's office calls and tells you you have a warrant, you need to send them cash, don't do it. It's a scam, even if it's me. I have a very unique voice. I probably had 35 emails that day asking me why, and then when I called them back, they're like, well, that wasn't you. We do not call people for warrants. The other one going along is the Social Security Administration, calling and telling you that your accounts are compromised and you need to call them. That is a scam. Do not call them or do not talk to them. Just hang up and go from there. Ongoings, we are staying very busy with Sheriff Hill's guidance. We have stepped up some initiatives. You've probably seen the Drug Task Force. That is already producing results throughout Shawnee County. Good results. We're putting serious offenders, violent offenders back in jail. Caught some burglars, so we're still seeing burglaries in the area. So along with everything else, let's remember, lock it, remove it, or lose it, because it's still happening. So together we can hopefully make this the one of the safest communities in the country. So thank you.
Are you warming up a little bit now? I was freezing when I walked in the door, so I'm glad Judy took care of it, which she always does. At our last meeting, we talked about next steps with the coalition. For about a year and a half, we did a lot of work related to human trafficking, and we'll be having updates periodically on the progress of the different groups that are working to eradicate human trafficking. But one of the things we learned in the process, that if we want to address the hard social problems that all communities have, we need to look upstream to see why things are happening in the first place. When Safe Streets first started, crime was of great concern in this community, as it still is. And we knew then, as we do now, that substance abuse plays a major role in crime and in other social problems. At each of our meetings, we've asked for suggestions on topics, and on the table there, you will see some of the additional topics that we've received, ideas from you all, and opportunities to give us some other suggestions. So today's topic is one that was suggested, and so today I'm pleased to introduce, you've already heard, or had Lynn Smith was introduced. He's our prevention consultant at PARS, and he's been with us over 13 years. Started out as a youth coordinator and worked with Safe Streets, and has been with community as a community prevention consultant since that time. He works with schools, community groups, and he's here today to talk about drug trends. And I have to warn you, you're not just going to sit and listen. And he's not going to just sit behind the computer today. So will you help me welcome Lynn Smith?
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good, good. So, as Michelle stated, you're not just going to sit there on your hands and just listen to me talk for the next 30 minutes. I'm going to engage you all in a variety of different questions, see where your knowledge is. And so I hope in the next half hour you have a little bit of fun with my presentation. I just want you to know this is something that we can actually bring to your organization. You're just getting a taste. And as the drug dealers, I'm just going to give you a little taste. And then after that, when you come back, you got to pay for it. But you don't have to actually pay for it from us. If your organization is within Shawnee County, we're more than happy to come to your business and provide this presentation for you, among others that we do have as well, okay? So what I hope you take away from this in the next half hour is you have an increased knowledge about what the local rates of substance use are, what the risk and protective factors are as it pertains to young people and engaging in problem behaviors, what are some of the common drug trends for youth, how perception of harm and normalization can impact substance use, and how media can be used to promote substance use, okay? So, I need 2 volunteers. We're gonna play Family Feud real quick. I need 2 volunteers to come down. Everybody's looking at everybody, but I need 2. There's 1, come on down, and 2, come on down. So we're gonna play Family Feud real quick, and we're gonna do it just like my man Steve Harvey does. You're gonna come on down, you're gonna shake hands. All right, so what's your name?
Kenzie Williams.
Kenzie?
Linda.
And Linda. Kenzie, who are you with? District Attorney's Office?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, okay. So the little buzzer is the bell. So you're gonna put 1 hand on the podium, 1 behind your back, okay? Whatever is your preference hand to hit the bell, okay? And so here's the first question. Top 1 answer on the board. What is the #1 substance used by Shawnee County youth? Yes.
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Michaela, high question, please. Incorrect. Got an answer for me?
God.
She's like, oh my gosh. Yes.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Anybody from the crowd got an answer for me? We got 2 strikes. Yes, right here. Alcohol. Correct. Alcohol is the #1 drug of choice for Shawnee County. Let's give them a round of applause for coming up and playing Family Feud, Safe Streets Coalition style. So yes, alcohol is the #1 drug of choice for Shawnee County youth. We know that because of the survey that they take in grades 6, 8, 10th, and 12th, which is the Communities That Care survey. That number has gone down, but it still is the highest percentage amongst our young people, okay? So, with that being said, what would you say are the top 6 substances used by our youth in Shawnee County? Taking hands. Anybody who has a guess? Alcohol, obviously, right? We got alcohol, right? Marijuana. Tobacco. I heard 3, that's 3 answers. Tobacco, alcohol, marijuana. Ecstasy, inhalants, meth. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Prescription drugs. Okay, top 6 substances used by Shawnee County youth, and this is in order, okay? These are the top 6 substances used by our youth, and again, we know this because of the survey that they have taken, and this is actually kids that are currently in grades 7, 9, and 11, and who just graduated. This is their answers from last school year, okay? So this upcoming December/January, our kids that are in grade 6, 8, 10th, and 12th, they will take this same survey and answer these same questions. So the #1, this is from least to highest, okay? Least to highest. Inhalants. Who said inhalants? Inhalants has now reemerged and has made the top 6. For a while, it has been on our other radar, but is now made the top 6. So for those of you who are working with young people or have interactions with young people, you might want to start keeping an eye on your inhalants. If you're buying more inhalants normally than you used to, that's a red flag. Okay, your young person is either stealing it, huffing it, or doing something with it or selling it. Prescription pills. So y'all heard that one. Marijuana, that one. Binge drinking. Can anybody tell me what the definition of binge drinking is? Just drink on the weekends, okay? Drink to get smashed. The actual definition of binge drinking is consuming 4 or more drinks for girls, 5 or more drinks for guys, in a setting which is defined as 2 hours. That is the definition of binge drinking. So this is what our youth are doing. This is what they say they are doing. They're consuming 4 to 5 drinks in a 2-hour setting, and the question is posed, in the last 15 days, have you binge drinked? Okay? The next one is e-cigarettes or vapes. We probably got 3 to maybe 4 years worth of data now as far as them checking and asking the youth this question. When this first was asked, it was at 4.99% of our youth said they were vaping. Our 2019 data is almost 12% of our youth are now vaping, okay? I'm in the schools quite a bit, and one of the reasons why they say they're vaping because there's no nicotine in it. And they're confused and they don't have all of the information. So when I'm in there, I'm trying to educate them so they have all the information as it pertains to e-cigarettes or vaping. And then number 1 is drinking. So the question is posed in the last 30 days, have you consumed alcohol? And again, this is at a little over 14% of our youth said they have consumed alcohol, okay? When we look at the other substance, here's the actual rates. So 18 versus 19. So in 18, 9.5% of our youth vape, now almost 12%. Prescriptions is kind of steady as far as the percentage, 3.75, 3.88. Inhalants actually has gone up from 2.3 to 3.19. Marijuana is pretty stable. For a while, it was like 10%. We were higher than the state and even up there by the national averages. The binge drinking up slightly, and alcohol drinking down slightly. The other substances, the arrows indicate 2018 versus 2019. So heroin, there was no change amongst our youth said they used heroin in the last 30 days. Methamphetamine use has went down. Cocaine crack use has went down. MDMA or ecstasy has gone up. Steroids have gone up. LSD or psychedelics has gone up, and then the cigarette use has actually gone down. So not to say we aren't educating, but we are keeping an eye on these as well because for a while cigarettes was on that top 6 substance use. Now inhalants has leapfrogged them to make that list. You can go to the kctcdata.org website to look at this and other information that ask a whole lot of different questions as far as how safe do you feel at school, how would you feel with your 4 closest friends were to use, how would you feel if you didn't use, what was your perception be, how likely would you to be caught by law enforcement if you were to use substances. It asks a whole lot of different questions on this website there. If you're from a different county, you can go check out where you're from and see what's going on from your hometown. And here it is, the free site. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to have a login to access this, but check it out. There's some really good information there. I need 2 more volunteers for the Safe Streets Family Feud. Everybody's like, no, not it. I need 2. Everybody's looking around. Who's going to be the brave 2? All right. Come on down. I got 2 more brave volunteers. Thank you for participating. I told you you're not just going to sit there. We're going to engage and have a little fun. What's your name?
Abby.
Abby. Nice to meet you, Abby. Who are you with?
I'm with Work for Success.
Work for Success. And we have
Deb.
Deb. And who are you with, Deb?
Work for Success.
So this is personal. This is bragging rights. This is bragging rights right here. They're going back to the office. I beat you at Family Feud today. One of you are not going to live this down for the rest of the year. So one hand behind your back, one on the podium. You can have it right here. It doesn't have to be up there. It could be right here. All right, here we go. Here we go. One answer. Top one answer. What is the average age when Shawnee County youth begin using alcohol, tobacco? Right here.
12.
12.
11.
11. 11. I need somebody from the audience to help me out. Average age of use. 14, I hear 14. Michaela. 14 is not correct. 6. I actually heard the answer somewhere over here. It is
13.
13. 10 answers later, we get there, but we got there. But 13 is the average age when Shawnee County youth begin using alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. So that is roughly 7th grade. I have an almost 13-year-old. She's in the 7th grade. That is one of those transitional periods for our young people. And so we see that this is the age when most youth begin using alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. Can we give a hand to Michaela for helping me out today? Thank you, Michaela. She was so excited to X somebody, so you just made her day today. She was hoping to X somebody. But why the age is important, we understand from research and science that the younger people are when they begin drinking, even as young as 11 and 12, they're twice as likely to develop an alcohol use disorder compared to those who wait to age 21. So we notice the age of use, not how much they use, that's going to be the biggest predictor, okay? And why that is important, that is one of the things that we look at with risk and protective factors as far as the foundation of prevention science is the age, trying to delay that. The longer we can keep them from consuming alcohol or other drugs, the better path they can be on and more successful that they can be. So with risk and protective factors, we look at 4 domains. And you actually will have this next slide in front of you. It's a matrix. But the 4 domains, we look at school, community, family, and then the peer and individual. And what we hope to do with risk and protective factors, we want to diminish risk and enhance protection. So of all of you who are in here, how many of you guys are either working with youth, or have some sort of interaction with youth, by show of hands? So that's almost everybody. And it would probably be safe to say that not all of those youth have been dealt the best hand, right? And so what we want to do, we want to, again, enhance protection, decrease risk. And so with this matrix right here, what it shows or illustrates is that there are 19 risk factors that increases a young person's likelihood of engaging in problem behavior. And there are 6 problem behaviors: substance abuse, delinquency, teen pregnancy, school dropout, violence, depression, and anxiety. You have this in front of you, but of those 19 risk factors, 3 of those fall in the family domain. So when there is family history of problem behavior, family management problems, and family conflict, they are more likely, there is a bigger correlation that they're going to engage in those all 6 problem behaviors from the family domain, okay? That is something we cannot control who they are born or what family they are born into. So we have to take into other measures to decrease that risk, enhance protection in other venues, okay? The other one is academic failure beginning in late elementary school. So like 4th grade. When a kid around 4th grade starts to believe that what's the point of coming to school, there's a bigger, higher correlation that they're more likely to engage in those 6 problem behaviors. And if you look at the other risk factors, there's correlations to substance abuse or mental health or teen pregnancy or dropping out of school. But of those 19, 3 of those fall within the family domain. So it's important for us to be able to increase or enhance that protection because we can't change that family dynamic. And for those of you who work with young people on a regular basis, you may have folks who are generational. This is now the great-great-grandkid of such and such. And if you say somebody's last name, a lot of people will go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But it doesn't have to make sense. We can try to change that. And so what we know with young people who have a lot of risk factors going on in their life, they're more prone to having a stressful life. And when a young person is dealing with a lot of stress in their life, it can cause them to become physically and mentally ill. It can cause them to have developmental delays in their brain that could cause them to start having on or taking on insecurities about themselves, self-guilt about the situation that they live in. They have issues or problems attaching or bonding with individuals. They have issues interacting with individuals appropriately. They don't pick up on those red flags of appropriate interactions. Intellectually, they struggle in school. Parentification. You guys familiar or have heard of that term, parentification? I see some heads doing this. But you may, once I define it or explain it, you probably have seen it if you work with young people. Parentification is defined when a young person assumes the role as a caregiver. And so you may have a 10, 11, 12, or older individual who is caring for their younger siblings, taking on parent responsibilities. So they're not able to live their childhood because they have taken on the role of their parent, for whatever the case may be. That is parentification. Social stigma, so they become outcasted because of maybe how they dress or how they smell. I was at a meeting last month, and one of our partners was sharing, he was amazed how some people don't know how to brush their teeth or about hygiene, appropriate hygiene. Well, if they haven't been taught it, they don't know it. And so we have to enhance protection, okay? And then leads to poor health. When a young person has positive protection or enhanced protection, this is what we are bound to see in them. Their behavior is going to be predictable because they feel safe. They're going to have consistency and routines going on. They're going to have positive relationships with authority figures or caregivers. They're going to be more respectful in their communication. They're going to be more attentive. They're going to have meaningful relationships. And they're going to be able to follow the clear rules and expectations. So when we enhance that protection, we are more likely to get the kids to be successful. And building on being successful, we have to utilize the social development strategy, which is outlined here. So working from the top down, we have to, for those young people, identify what is that healthy behavior we want for you, okay? Then we have to tell him or her, these are our beliefs and these are the standards that you must abide by. And in order for you to reach that healthy behavior, you're going to have to bond with people, you're going to have to attach with individuals, you're going to have some sort of commitment, be it at school, be it in your community or other peers, or at home, and maybe it's not at home, but they have to build those. Us who work with young people, we have to make sure we provide them with opportunities, meaningful opportunities, okay? We can't keep referring to our young people as tomorrow because they're at the table today. We need them at the table today. So we have to make sure we're providing them with opportunities to showcase what they can do. We got to make sure we build them up and help them develop those skills. And then we got to recognize them when they do something positive. And if we do that and nurture that, we should be able to enhance that protection and get our young people to be successful. All right, so show of hands. What would you say is the number one reason youth choose to vape? Who thinks A? Availability of flavors. See now. What about B? Friends or family member vapes. Still seeing some and a couple hands. What about C? Believe there is no harm in using it. Okay, quite a few hands went up on that one. And what about D? You can do cool tricks. Have you seen the tricks that you can do with that? It's amazing. YouTube it, look it up. It is amazing. So it looks like it was a split between C and D. I had one brave soul right here. He picked B, and you were right. Friends and family members are the number one reason young people choose to vape, okay? These are the different types of vapes that are out there. We got the Juul, which is the number one vape that is out there. They have pretty much cornered the market. About 72% of vapes that are in this society are Juuls. But then you got this one right here is called the Sour and Drop. It actually looks like the whiteout, the tape whiteout. So they're being very creative and tricky in trying to conceal these devices so you and I don't know what they're doing. Then you have this BB tank flip that resembles a key fob. And then you have this one right here. It's called the PAX 3. It's probably the most sophisticated vape that is out there because it actually can be used for oils and leafy substance marijuana. So it can be used for both. These other ones right here are just oil. This one can be oil and the actual marijuana leaf itself, okay? One pod, which is up here at the average percent nicotine by weight of 5%, is equal to 20 cigarettes or one pack of cigarettes. We have been told that young people are consuming upwards to 2 joules a day. Okay? So 1 joule is equal to 1 pack of cigarettes. Okay? When I'm in the schools, they're telling me, well, there's no nicotine, so what's the big deal, Mr. Smith? Well, the big deal is, let's say there is no nicotine in that vape. Well, this is the other things that are in that vape. So this is the big deal. And if this doesn't increase their awareness about why they shouldn't be vaping, they need to then look here that the ones in yellow are from FDA 2012 harmful and potentially harmful substances. And so what they don't understand, and maybe us as adults we don't understand, is that when you take a chemical, it can be changed once heat is applied to it, and then it becomes something else. It becomes something even more dangerous, okay? So just removing nicotine hopefully gets them to see why they shouldn't be vaping. And now with the information that's starting to come out in the media with the number of deaths and the history and the things that they were consuming, hopefully they will start to see why they shouldn't be vaping. So those things that are in the vapes, here are some of those chemicals where they can be found in other places. Antifreeze, nail polish, paints and pesticides, embalming fluid, the nicotine in cigarettes, and the rubidium, which is what makes the fireworks nice and bright and pretty. Those are just a few of the chemicals that are in the aerosol of vaping, okay? All right, another pop quiz question, show of hands. Which prescription pill is abused most by Shawnee County youth? It made our top 6 substances, but then we're breaking it down to, is it a stimulant, is it a pain reliever, or is it a tranquilizer? So who thinks A? Who think it is stimulants, ADHD medication? Who thinks B, pain relievers? And who thinks C? So we got kind of a split room here. Okay, anybody want to tell me, if you raised your hand for A, why you picked A? Readily available. Okay, what about B? Someone tell me why you picked B. Highly addictive. And what about C? Parents have them. So when I saw this question, I went with A. I was wrong. I went with A as well because I know there are so many young people with the diagnosis of ADHD. I know there's a lot of Adderall and Ritalin out there, but the number one prescription pill abused by Shawnee County youth is pain relievers. We got a lot of young people playing sports. We got a lot of young people getting injuries, and we got a lot of young people being prescribed pain medication. So when I'm in that classroom, it's easy to see 90% of hands go up when I ask who's playing sports and who has had an injury and who has had a prescription written for that injury, and those hands stay up, and friends talk. So pain relievers is the #1 prescription pill abused by Shawnee County youth. That perception of harm, so what we know is when a person perceives there's no harm, they're more likely to do it. If they don't perceive they'll be harmed by a substance, they're more likely to do it. And that also applies in our life. How many of you, where's Sergeant Wilson? Keep looking at your phone, don't look up, okay. How many guys have ran a yellow light before? And you're not supposed to be looking. How many made your decision based on the proximity of what was around if you thought you was going to get through safely or not? Right? So we do that in our own personal lives. We make decisions based on if we feel we're going to be harmed or not. And that applies with substance use. And then when it becomes normalized, when people see nothing wrong with it or seen as taboo anymore, you're more likely to do it. With the young people I present to, they have no idea that back in '01, when you went out to eat, they asked you if you wanted smoking or non-smoking. They have no idea that that existed. But now we wouldn't think twice about that, okay? So perception of risk, this is from the CTC survey. It was asked marijuana regular use, tobacco regular use, alcohol regular use, with the answer being no risk of harm if you were to use this. Marijuana increases. Our youth feel there is no risk of harm in using marijuana, so we see a higher use of rate. Our tobacco use actually is going down, so they do feel there is risk of harm of consuming tobacco. And the alcohol is going down slightly as well. So we have done some good things as a society with educating our young people about the dangers of tobacco use. We're still trying to figure this out with marijuana use. And our young people believe there's no risk of harm, and it correlates with the rates of use. Then you add on celebrities. We got Chris Brown, Rihanna, Seth Rogen, Lady Gaga, Snoop, Whoopi, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Willie Nelson. Our young people live on social media. They follow all these celebrities. And so oftentimes, if I'm, follow Snoop, and I like Snoop, and I want to be like Snoop, I may do what Snoop does. Okay? Then you got TV shows. Bon Appetit. Anybody heard of this show? This is on Viceland. On this show right here, they'd have a 5-course meal. So every portion of the meal, from the appetizer all the way to the dessert, has marijuana infused into it. I heard, oh my, yeah, oh my is correct. They consult a bud tender. So this person tells you, well, if you're wanting something kind of mellow and calm, I would recommend this to be infused into your pork roast. In your vinaigrette, I would recommend this strain of marijuana to go in that. For your dessert, I would recommend this type of marijuana to be infused in that. And then you have celebrities on here, and they go through a 5-course meal eating food that has been infused with marijuana. So that's normalizing the behavior. Then we have the flavors that are being put in front of our young people, from bomb pops to all the different types of flavors. There are over 7,500 different types of flavors for vapes. So that's like Sonic, right? You can go to Sonic every day of the year and get a different drink. So every day of the year, you can smoke a different vape. So they're targeting our young people with all of these different types of flavors. Normalizing. This was one of you guys up on promposals. For those of you who have teenagers in high school, this was, now instead of a guy saying, Judy, will you go to prom with me? Now you gotta be creative. You gotta come up with a creative way to ask the girl out to prom. And so this guy right here, he's normalized. He said, it would be sweet if you'll, but it's Jewel, go to prom with me. And then he gives her a jewel. She picked up on it, and she got a jewel. Yes, so normalizing it. So How many people feel media can impact your perception? Okay, so again, different type of coalition meeting today. So I'm going to ask you guys to entertain me, and I'm going to put up a bunch of slogans. And if you know the name of the product, please just yell it out. There's no need to raise your hand. Nike, yes. Good. All right. Arby's. Frosted Flakes. Subway. Walmart. Bud Light. I'm amazed you guys got this just as quickly as the young people did. They tend to get this one quicker than all the other ones. Dilly dilly, and then for the rest of the day, the teachers emailed me later and said, thank you, Mr. Smith, because that's all we heard the rest of the day was dilly dilly. Okay? State Farm and Oscar Mayer. Why do we know these things? They're catchy, right? One of the reasons why we know these things is because in media marketing, it's repetitious. You cannot not see those slogans on TV. You still see they're great. You still see Taste the Rainbow. You still see Just Do It. So with repetition, it's constantly in our young people's face. As it pertains to substance use, they make it look normal or they glamorize it. So yeah, I want all the cute girls on me too. If I smoke Newports, I can get them. All right, so it makes it look normal or glamorous. But why it also works is because of two regions of our brain, the prefrontal cortex and the nucleus accumbens. The prefrontal cortex deals with decision-making and recognizing consequences, and our nucleus accumbens deals with being impulsive, seeking rewards and pleasures. And for those who don't know, our brain isn't developed until age 25. Some people may say that about me. Lynn, your brain still isn't quite developed, but we're getting there. And so with the media marketing, they are being strategic in targeting our young people. They know they're impulsive. They know their brains aren't fully developed yet. How many have ever done something impulsive? Am I the only one? Oh, good, because I do impulsive stuff all the time. That blizzard of the month comes on. Let's pile up and go. We may have ice cream in the freezer. That's not good enough because that blizzard of the month, it looks so good. However they create it, we got to go get it, okay? And so that's how that works. They're targeting our young people. Those commercials, those ads are targeting certain regions of the brain, and they're more apt to engage in that behavior. And when they're being targeted, because they live here, right, on their phones or their tablets or whatever their device may be, how many hours do you think they're averaging on that device, on media and technology? How many think 6 hours a day? How many think B, 9 hours? How many think C, 8 hours? How many think D? So we got a mix. The average hours that they spend on media and technology is 9. That has just went up from 8. So if we just look at a Monday through Friday, 45 hours that they're spending on media and technology. So in that 45 hours, they're bound to be exposed to some type of messaging, okay? And not just one time, repetitively, okay? So spending 9 hours on media and technology, how many hours do you think they average listening to music? How many think A? 2.5. How many think B? 3.5. C, 4.5, D, 5.5. So we're kind of split again. It is 2.5 hours. Our young people are listening to music that contains references to substance use, contains references to living a certain lifestyle. And if a young person hasn't been dealt the best hand and they're listening to whatever the new artist is that's talked about shining, which means having on nice jewelry, or being having a lot of girls, or the nice car, or the nice clothes. And they see that over and over and over again, and we know their brain's not developed until age 25, and we know that they're more bound to be impulsive in their decision making. What do you think they're more apt to do? Okay? And so I'm not going to play this song, but I just want you to see what our young people are listening to. This is a artist, his name is Little Uzi Vert. And this verse, he says, Zanny numb the pain, yeah? So what's Zanny? Xanax, right? So Xanax, please numb the pain. Please make it go away. I'm committed, not addicted, but it keeps controlling me. Who says that? An addict, right? But he's saying he's not an addict, but he knows it's controlling him, but it keeps controlling him. All that pain now, I can't feel it. I swear that it's slowing me. So a young person who doesn't know where they're going to live when they come home from school today, and they know and they're hearing this song that Xanax can help that pain go away, and if we're not enhancing protection with our young people, they're more likely to turn to a substance to help deal with that pain, to escape reality, to numb their feelings, okay? So what can you do? Talk early, talk often, ask questions, be informed. We have the same resources that they do, so we need to be doing what they're doing. Know the trends, know who their friends and family members are if possible. Connect them to resources. We have a whole lot of resources within our community. So there's no reason why a young person should go without a resource because we have enough within our community or we know where to send them, okay? And lastly, just talk again. So hopefully I gave you a taste that would make you want to give us a call to come to your respective business or organization to put on an hour or 2-hour presentation for your staff as it pertains to trends. And we also have paraphernalia that I didn't bring today, but we also have the paraphernalia aspects of it to show you how they're concealing substances or how they're using different substances. We have a whole host of different type of presentations. So give us a call or email Judy or myself. So as I conclude, there's a yellow form on your table. If you wouldn't mind, please filling that out for us. It's asking for your demographics. It's asking before this presentation, then after this presentation. And there's a few more questions after that. If they don't apply to you, just check NA. And then please be, help us out in those last 3 questions, what you liked, what you didn't like, how you may plan to share this or apply this in your field of work. And we definitely will be looking at this to help us do better work for the remainder of this year and then moving forward into 2020. Any questions for me before I put this mic down? Anybody want to play one more round of Family Feud? You're good. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you all for being attentive and engaging me today. I think Michelle has something to wrap up with. Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple of things. And thanks, Lynn. So I have one question, and also look at what can we do about these things, and we'll be talking more about some awareness campaigns that we're going to be marketing and hoping to get your input on and participation in. And so we'll be meeting again November 6th and in this room, and have a great rest of the month. It's hard to believe it's October, but thanks for coming, and bring more people on next time because we'll have another program for you. Thanks.